Welcome into the recap here on our YouTube channel, available audio only wherever you get your podcasts. I'm David Kaplan with the lead analyst of the National Hockey League, U.S. Hockey Hall of Famer, and one of my closest friends, the great Eddie Olczyk. Edzo, it's draft night. We'll get to the big news and Connor Bedard going number one. But do you remember your draft day when you were part of a trade and you went third overall?
Yeah, Cap, hard to believe. If I can do my quick math, 39 years ago, living and dying with my favorite team here in Chicago as a kid, and then getting that opportunity to be drafted third overall, and had no idea where I was going to get drafted. At that particular time, the Hawks were picking, I believe they were picking sixth, and the LA Kings were in the third hole, and I didn't go first to Pittsburgh. I thought I was going to go to New Jersey. That didn't happen, and all of a sudden I thought maybe I was going to end up in Toronto at number 4, but then the Blackhawks moved up in the draft and went to number 3, and once the Hawks moved up, I was like, boy, am I going to live out a dream here or what? And sure enough, the Hawks took me third overall. So anytime the draft happens, it takes me back. There's no doubt about it, and to be the first ever American-born native son to be drafted by his hometown team in the first round is something that I'm very proud of, will continue to be proud of. And it's only one time. It's only can happen the first. And I was lucky to be that guy, Cap.
Okay, so tonight, Connor Bedard will hear his name called. Connor Bedard, you are now a member of the Chicago Blackhawks. What is that feeling like when the phone rings or the name is called? Yeah. And then what do you think of Connor Bedard? Because, boy, they're throwing around some lofty comparisons.
Yeah, I mean, I was in Montreal in 1984 and heard my name, and I, came down from the stands and met everybody at the table and took the pictures and what have you. And Connor Bedard, same thing, and all these players that will be taken. And, I think the first thing you think of, you think about all the people, your family first and foremost, but you think about all the people, all the coaches, all your teammates that kind of helped you along the way. And this is fulfilling a dream, right? You can't get to the national, well, I shouldn't say that. You can get to the National Hockey League a lot of different ways, and this is one of them, is being drafted, because there are many players that don't get drafted or maybe mature a little bit later that come in and sign as free agents, so they never get the opportunity to go through the draft. But there's a lot of pressure that comes with it, being number 1 overall, and you're right, the hype is pretty large. There's no doubt about it. I mean, the one thing that has been common with pretty much every team and every scout that I've come across that has seen him play in person is that his hockey IQ is off the charts, and that's going to put him ahead of a lot of players that come into this league right off the bat. So the understanding, knowing where to go, knowing what you're going to do with the puck before you get to it, the ability to make plays in really confined areas. He's not really a big guy. It's going to be some, growing pains for any young player, but the comparisons and the, conversation of, what's he going to do his first year in the league, and, is he going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer? Look at, let him get to the training camp. Let him get to put on a Blackhawks sweater. Let him play a couple exhibition games. Let him get through the league a couple of times. And, and you got to have veteran guys around him that are not on self-led agenda roles on the team. You got to have good leaders on that team to help them along the way. And you got to have good players as well, so to make life a little bit easier, not only on the ice, Capper, but maybe even more importantly, off the ice. So the comparisons, through the roof, but let him get to the National Hockey League and let him develop at his own speed, and we'll see how things all play out come the middle of September, and most importantly, the first couple of weeks of October.
So break him down as a player. He's small, but he's strong. I saw his tape from the combine. 14 chin-ups is no joke at age 17. That's pretty impressive. He's wiry, but he's tough. Does he stay at center? Does he go to the wing? What is realistic about this kid?
Well, look, I've never seen him play in person. I've only watched him play on television or on tape, and it's not really a fair assessment for me. But people that I know that have seen him in person and trust him, and his junior coach was my coach in Winnipeg and my general manager, John Paddock. So breaking down coach speak from a guy that I played for, I think there is some question. Will he be able to play the center ice position at his size in the National Hockey League? But the hockey IQ, the smarts, the release, the shot, everything that goes with it, certainly looks like it's NHL ready. He'll be 18 in a little while, and he'll be ready to come into the league and play in a man's league. But I think that it is all about the big picture. It's all about, like I said earlier, surrounding him with the right type of players, talent-wise, but then also, veteran guys that can show him the way both on and off the ice. And but I think that will be a real interesting dynamic on how Coach Luke Richardson and the Blackhawks handle that, and see if that, because look, if you're going to win in the league, and look at the Blackhawks proved this 3 different times recently, you got to have depth at the center ice position. I mean, you got to have stars, but you got to have depth at the center ice position in order to win. But I think the one thing that makes Connor Bedard, different from a lot of players is that he seems to have that ability to be able to play anywhere up front. And if it can't be at center, then it'll have to be on the wing, and you go from there. But I think that'll all kind of work itself out. But again, his junior coach that knows him better than anybody, again, I played for him, and just listening to him, watching him talk, and then reading his words, breaking down a coach that I know very well, breaking down coach speak, I think, and John played in the NHL for a while. He's a tough guy. I think there might be some questions whether or not he can play long-term center ice position in the National Hockey League. But look, time will tell. The kid's proven everybody to, he's proven to be the best at everything that he's done his whole life. So we'll see how it transitions into the NHL.
Edzo, you also played with, coached with Sidney Crosby, Mario Lemieux. I mean, I'm hearing all these flowery comparisons. I'm listening to NHL Network Radio today on Sirius XM, and a guy said, yeah, he's got a lot of Gretzky in him. And I'm like, Gretzky?
Yeah.
Okay, let's pump the brakes here.
Yeah.
When you hear that, I mean, is he Sid the Kid? What is he?
Yeah, I look at, again, I don't think it would be fair for me to say, but as I said, the comparisons, the hockey IQ, which can put you can put you in that express lane is an 18-year-old than most kids, is that if you can think the game and know what's going to happen before it does, it's going to give you a lot of benefits, and you're going to be on the right side of the puck more times than not. And then you add the talent into it and the raw God-given ability and the skill level, then the sky's the limit. But that has been talked about. I mean, when you're talking about hockey IQ, or you can talk about any athlete, Capper, and I'm sure you can name a couple of guys right now off the top of your head in every sport and just sit there and go, wow, take the talent out of it. Like, this guy has the hockey IQ or the sports IQ of some of the better players that have ever played the game. You're basing that on what you see with him playing against people his own age or people that are maybe a year or two older. You're going into the best league in the world. There are some great players and have been great players and will continue to be great players in the NHL. But I think when you're hearing those names, they're talking about just his ability to compute very, very quickly and know what's going to happen before it does. And if that translates to the next level, we've had Connor McDavid here. We've had Kaner. We've had Sidney Crosby. I'm just going back, whatever, how many years is that? That's going back to 05 or whatever the year was when Sid came, 05, 06. So, and obviously Kaner back. So at the end of the day, you got to go out there and perform, and he'll get that opportunity at some point.
Edzo, U.S. Hockey Hall of Famer, great analyst. Thank you for your time, my man. You're the best.
All right, Capper. Love you, pal. Thanks.